Did you always know you wanted to be an executive producer or producer, work in entertainment?
Well, I actually worked in a lot of things within, the production and TV field. I was
Yeah.
a tech. I started as a tech first.
Yeah.
And then from there, when making, my way up. But it was funny when I went to college, I didn't know what I wanted to be.
Yeah.
And it's actually, I tell this story and people are like, really? Wow. And I was, I was like, I don't know what I want to study. So I told my mom, I'm like, hey, I'm going to be an accountant, like my sister, my older sister. I go, hey, she makes good money, whatever, an accountant. I had no idea, And then I took my first accounting class.
Yeah.
And the teacher was like, this is what's going to weed out if you're going to do accounting or not.
Right.
And I hated it.
Yeah. I can
It
imagine.
was my first actual anxiety attack. I had it trying to study for that class.
Yeah.
My sister was like, hey, but this is easy. Don't you get it? I'm like, no, one of the main things they teach you is how to do balance sheets. And you have to have this column matches this column, and my columns never match. I'm like, this is not for me.
Yeah.
So then what I was doing, my core, curriculum classes, I took one, that was called mass media and communication.
Yeah.
Which, they talked about journalism, PR,
Yeah.
Television production, and journalism, PR. Oh, I don't remember. But it was basically all about the different fields in communication. And I was thinking, oh, maybe I'll do advertising or PR or something like that. And in the middle of the class, the teacher goes, this is back in 1995, 96.
Mm-hmm.
The teacher goes and says, hey, MTV Latin America is looking for interns. And I was like,
oh my God.
MTV, I was 19 years old. I'm like, yes, I'm going to go and apply. So
MTV was everything at that, at that moment.
It was. I mean, The Real World was just, had just started a few years ago. It was probably like season 5 back then.
It was the first reality TV, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So then I went, I applied, they called me for an interview. And while I was sitting in the waiting room for waiting them to call in, I started seeing everyone that was coming back for the lunch break and stuff like that. People were wearing jeans and people with dreads and camo. And I'm like, this is cool.
Yeah.
And then from there, I went into the interview. They explained to me what I had to do and all that. I got home. I told my, Mom, I know what I'm going to study. I'm going to study television production. Just from that first impression that I got from going to that building.
Wow.
And then I got into the track and I loved it. And it was just, it was just funny because my mom told me, but I don't understand. What do you do? She goes, I don't know, Mom, but I'm going to be happy.
Well, that's the point.
And 25 years later, I love what I do.